Welcome to our channel. Today, we embark on a profound and revealing journey through the second chapter of the book of Genesis. This chapter is one of the cornerstones of the biblical narrative and offers a detailed and intimate view of the creation of humanity and the Garden of Eden. Throughout this video, we will explore the symbolic and historical aspects of this chapter, connecting the biblical narrative with archaeological discoveries and historical studies that enrich our understanding of this ancient and fundamental text. Get ready for an exploration that illuminates both the spiritual aspects and historical contexts of this crucial biblical narrative. The creation of man. We start with one of the most vivid and powerful descriptions from Genesis chapter 2. In verse 7, we read, "Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being." This verse is not only a description of the physical origin of man but also a profound account that reveals the divine infusion of life and consciousness into the human being. The creation of man from clay is a rich and powerful metaphor that resonates in many cultures and ancient mythologies. In the ancient Near East, clay was often associated with creation and fertility. For example, in Sumerian mythology, there are stories of gods shaping humanity from clay, reflecting a view that humans are intrinsically linked to the earth. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest and most significant literary works from Mesopotamia, describes the creation of Enkidu, a being made from clay by the gods, highlighting the deep connection between humans and the natural world. Beyond Sumer, many other ancient myths talk about the creation of humanity from clay. The Babylonians, for instance, had similar stories where the creation of man represented the will and power of the gods. These myths illustrate how the connection between humans and the earth was a common idea, emphasizing the importance of the earth in the life and spirituality of ancient civilizations. Egyptian mythology also presents a creation story with similar themes. The Egyptians believed that the god Khnum molded humanity from clay on a potter's wheel. This myth not only reflects the importance of the earth in creation but also underscores the role of artisan deities in the formation of life. With the advancement of modern science, studies in biology and chemistry show that the elements found in the earth, such as carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, are the same elements that make up living beings. This chemical similarity reinforces the metaphor of dust of the ground, suggesting a fundamental and profound connection between life and the terrestrial environment. Thus, the biblical account not only echoes ancient traditions but also aligns with contemporary scientific discoveries. Furthermore, modern biology reveals that all living organisms share a common base of genetic material. This scientific discovery offers a fascinating perspective on the biblical idea that man was created from the dust of the ground, highlighting the interconnectedness of all forms of life. The Garden of Eden. Now, let us turn to the description of the Garden of Eden, a place of unparalleled beauty and abundance. Genesis chapter 2 describes Eden in vivid detail. Now the Lord God had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. This garden was not just a place of sensory pleasure but a space of perfect harmony and completeness, where all the trees were pleasing to the eye and good for food, including the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The concept of an idealized garden is a recurring theme in many ancient cultures. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, is a notable example of this aspiration. Built by King Nebuchadnezzar II, the Hanging Gardens were famous for their beauty and complexity, representing the quest for a perfect space that mirrored divine order. Although the exact location is debated, the garden symbolizes the human desire to create a paradise on earth. Besides the Hanging Gardens, Persian gardens, known as Paradise Gardens, are another example of how ancient cultures sought to create a divine space. These gardens were designed to reflect divine perfection, with water channels and lush vegetation, creating an environment of harmony and beauty. Eden, with its abundance and perfection, can be seen as an idealized image of these historical gardens. Archaeology also reveals that ancient gardens had profound cultural meanings. The Garden of Eden, with its abundance and perfection, represents the divine ideal of beauty and harmony. Comparing Eden with other historical gardens helps to understand the cultural significance of these spaces and how they reflected ideals of perfection and divine order. In terms of real landscapes, ancient gardens often included elements that had both aesthetic and functional value. The Babylonian gardens, for example, were known for their complexity in advanced hydraulic engineering, reflecting a deep understanding of water and agriculture. The Garden of Eden can be viewed as an idealized expression of these skills and knowledge, combining natural beauty with order and functionality. Eden is described as having 4 main rivers: Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates. Verse 10 mentions, a river watering the garden flowed from Eden, from there it was separated into 4 headwaters. Among these rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates are known and still exist today, but the location of the Pishon and Gihon rivers remains an intriguing mystery. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers were essential for the development of the Mesopotamian civilizations, providing vital water for agriculture, trade, and daily life. They were considered symbols of fertility and prosperity. The presence of these rivers in Eden reflects the importance of water for the creation and sustenance of life. The location of the Pishon and Gihon rivers has been the subject of intense debate and research. Some scholars suggest that these rivers may have changed course over time due to geological alterations or environmental changes. Others believe that they may have been identified differently in antiquity. Geological and archaeological investigations continue to explore these rivers, offering new clues about ancient geography and the possible location of Eden. These investigations help contextualize the biblical narrative, providing a richer understanding of how Eden was perceived in antiquity. Comparing the biblical descriptions with archaeological and geological evidence enriches our understanding of ancient history and geography, revealing fascinating aspects of the landscape described in the Bible. In addition to the rivers, the concept of water in Eden is symbolic. In many ancient traditions, water is seen as a purifying and vital element, associated with life and creation. Eden, with its 4 rivers, can be seen as a representation of abundance and fertility, offering an idealized vision of a world where life flourishes in perfection. The creation of woman. In verse 21, God makes the man fall into a deep sleep and creates the woman from one of his ribs, so the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. This account not only describes the creation of woman but also symbolizes the union and interdependence between the sexes. The creation of woman from the man's rib is a powerful metaphor that emphasizes partnership and equality between men and women. This narrative can be seen as a symbol of the deep connection and essential complementarity between the sexes. In many ancient cultures, similar myths highlight the importance of woman as an integral part of humanity. In Greek mythology, Pandora was created from earth and water by the gods, and her creation also symbolizes the complementarity between human beings. These ancient myths reflect the idea that the creation of woman was an essential aspect of life and society, reflecting values of equality and partnership. Anthropological studies reveal that many ancient societies valued partnership and equality between the sexes. Creation stories that describe woman as an extension of man may have been shaped by these cultural views and reflected the values of the time. These narratives offer insight into the beliefs and values of ancient civilizations and how they influenced creation stories. Moreover, the biblical narrative offers a view on the importance of union and partnership in human life. The creation of woman from the man's rib symbolizes the idea that men and women are made to be companions and collaborators, working together to create a full and harmonious life. Dominion and prohibition. God grants the man and woman dominion over all the creatures and plants in the garden, except one, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it you will certainly die. This divine command introduces the concept of free will and the importance of obedience to God. The prohibition established by God introduces the idea of responsibility and moral choice. By granting the man and woman the freedom to choose, God creates the opportunity for their actions to have significant consequences. The concept of free will is central to many religious and philosophical traditions, reflecting the importance of conscious choice and morality. In ancient philosophy, debates about the nature of choice and responsibility are comparable to the issues raised in the biblical narrative. Plato and Aristotle discussed ethics and morality, exploring how human choices impact life and society. These philosophical discussions help understand the complexity of free will and its moral implications, providing an additional perspective on the biblical narrative. The choice to disobey God and eat the forbidden fruit leads to one of the most profound themes of the biblical narrative, the fall of man and the introduction of sin into the world. This story is fundamental to understanding the relationship between human beings and the divine, and how moral choice and responsibility are central themes in human life. Additionally, the narrative of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil reflects a common theme in many religious traditions, where the choice between good and evil is seen as a fundamental test for human spiritual and moral development. Conclusion. Genesis chapter 2 offers a rich and detailed view of the creation of humanity and the perfect environment where the first humans lived. It invites us to reflect on profound themes such as interdependence, responsibility, and the relationship between man and the divine. Through archaeology and historical studies, we can deepen our understanding of these ancient texts and appreciate the complexity and depth of the biblical narrative. Recognizing the importance of this chapter, we can see how it reflects not only the values and beliefs of the ancient Israelite civilization but also how these ideas resonate across cultures and traditions throughout history. The narrative of Eden continues to be a source of reflection and inspiration, offering lessons about life, morality, and the connection between human beings and the divine. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the second chapter of Genesis. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating explorations of the Bible and ancient history. See you next time.